Saphinde satheleka thina mbukeli nohlelo oluthanda kakhulu Yilungelo Lakho, it's your right. We're coming to you live right here on SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Isifikeleke intokazi yakajali Alisha igama ngithi mbukeli uyazi njengenjalo ngeke neze sikuvalele ngaphandle ekuhambeni kwesikhathi sizokuvulela phela ithuba ukuthi nawe ubambe iqhaza. Uyazi inamba zethu la e-studio zikakashintshi zethu 011-714-6918 or 714-6919. Ungasithumela i-email ku-consumer@sabc.co.za. Alternatively, catch us on our social media platforms. Ngithi mbukeli asihlale phezu kwendaba. Udaba lethu namhlanje mbukeli, in these tough economic times, desperate consumers would go to any place where the promise of wealth and money, of course, is rumored to exist, even right up to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, trading in shares on the JSE or dealing in foreign currency was once considered a preserve for the rich only, but now that picture is rapidly changing as more and more consumers dabble in online share trading. And of course, it seems that some approach this area of investment via a very dangerous road as they lack sufficient understanding of what selling and buying shares really entails. Ukhuluma kabanzi ke ngendaba yethu yanamhlanje on the intricacies of trading on stock exchange and the links to which bogus traders would go to make you part with your money. Mbukeli asamkele izivakashi zethu la e-studio. Sinaye Mr. Sandesh Ganasee, an online trading expert, kanye futhi nobaba Gerald Mwadiambira. Yena is from the Saving Institute of South Africa. Gentlemen, a very good afternoon to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on a Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's start at home. I mean, Sandesh, tell us what you do basically in relation to online share trading.
All right, so pretty much I'm the manager for online share trading, part of Standard Bank. We pretty much involved in terms of educating clients about the JSE, the stock market, etc. Involved in client trades execution as well as client liaison, basically.
Gerald, tell us a bit about your job.
Well, we at the South African Saving Institute, we try and encourage people to save as well as invest, which is a riskier type of saving, but essentially we're trying to get people to think about tomorrow and just not live for today.
Speaking of that, what is online share trading, or even share trading at that? I want both of you to answer that. Let's start with you, Sandesh.
Okay, so the naming online share trading can be a little bit deceptive at times. I think I'd rather sort of define the difference between trading and investing, because there is a difference. Trading would pretty much relate to speculative or short-term investments or short-term profits, and investing would be long-term, having a longer outlook in terms of 5 years or more, essentially. Okay,
when you say short-term, how much of a period are we looking at there?
Well, it depends on your appetite for risk, number one, and obviously depending on a number of variables, including the stock market itself. But short-term could vary from intraday, which is effectively in the day, up to a week, up to a couple of weeks or a couple of days, yeah.
Gerald, do you think people have sufficient knowledge of what, the difference is between the two?
They don't. That's the biggest problem.
Absolutely.
In that, as you just explained, trading is on the spot. It's people who are looking at graph the whole day, red color, orange color, green. They're doing things. Some of them are trading every 30 seconds.
Serious men in business
milliseconds. And that's trading. Investing, on the other hand, is about taking a longer-term view. So when you buy shares for investing, you're now not saying, I'm going to look at the share price tomorrow. You don't even care about what happens the rest of today. You wait your time, and then you get your money back. The problem is, Avant out there don't know the difference. They think that when they are trading online, they're investing, or some who want to invest actually end up trading, where they lose everything straight away. And that's the biggest part about it, in that trading is very much strictly online, And it's live. It's like the TV right now. It's live TV. You must be there all day. You must be watching what's going on. Often what happens is that's why you see traders have got 4, 5, 6 screens, because every screen is giving them information. Because when you're trading, it's about watching the news. How can that affect this price? And if there's even a little move in the rand, you sell. If there's another move, you buy. If there's another move, you sell. That's trading, and that's live. That's happening real time.
And who does that for you, Gerald? Does it do you give the money to a designated individual, or you can do that yourself as an individual?
Most times you give it to people like him at Standard Bank. They're the professionals. They sit there all day and they're doing this for a living. They sit and they watch screens and they know what to expect when certain things happen. But what's happening is that now, because everyone has a 3G card, everyone has access to live technology, they are buying software, and people can do it at home on their own time and trade. And that's where the danger is happening now, in that you're buying this very powerful software, which you can do just about anything you want and get rich quick, but you can also get poor very quick as well.
Sandesh, I mean, please explain it to our consumers at home. I mean, it seems that a lot of people would like to get into this, but I mean, they fall to the wayside where they get all these scrupulous people that pose as the so-called traders that will do a better job for them. But how do you then identify the specified area, the proper people to go to when looking into trade or investment?
So very important to clarify, Alicia, that I mean, trading is accessible to everybody. I mean, you as a layman, man in the street, you can go ahead and trade on the JSE. Important to note, though, that you don't need expensive software to do that. Usually what happens is that many of us, these guys, and Gerald will agree with me, they prey on our emotions. And effectively what you want to do is you want to trade with a large company or a large institution, somebody that you know, and somebody that you can actually approach should you have a problem.
But let's talk about the stuff that you need in more detail, Sandesh. I mean, how much money do you need? Let's talk about figures here.
So, like I said, it depends on whether you're going to be trading or investing.
Okay.
Investing for the long-term capital growth, you want to make sure that you're with a reputable company, etc.
But how do you identify what you want to do in the first place?
Well, you need to clarify your objectives, your investment objectives. Do you want to make cash in the short term?
Okay.
Or you can also lose cash in the short term, or do you want to grow your capital, which many people like to do, and work from there?
Gerald, what can you add on that?
I think it's what's happening now. It's a sign of the times. People want imali. People want money quick. We want it quick, and we want lots of it. So here you are, Alicia. You go to the shopping mall. You've gone to buy an outfit, or even a supermarket.
Yeah.
And then you see a table there, and then they say, earn $10,000 a day. $10,000 is not small money. That's like 150,000 a day. So you'll be like, let me hear this story out. You buy whatever they want you to buy. I've had cases of people who've bought this expensive software, and then 2-3 days later, the people who saw the software, the numbers are off, where now you've just got software and you don't even know where to go. And the other danger is that a lot of these culprits who are selling this software just want your details. Because remember, when you start trading, they say, no, bring your credit card. We're going to do a test trade, and we're going to take R1 off your card. But meanwhile, behind this software, there's people who are smart taking all your credit card details. And tomorrow it's Christmas Day because you're getting an SMS on things you don't know. So those are the dangers. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you trading if you understand what you're doing. But the problem is most people who are taking on this responsibility have no clue what they are doing.
You know what, we're going to talk more on that because I still don't have a clue. Mbugeli, masibambe khona lapho siyabuya khona manje. Please stay with us. Siphinde sikwamukele futhi mbukele uma ngabe ke wena uqeda ukufika endlini indaba yethu imayelana nokuthi wena ungawathenga kanjani phela amashare ngendlela ephephile. Baningi abantu abafuna ukwenza imali ngenye indlela yokonga kodwa phela bengazi ukuthi bangaya kuphi. Yikho ke sithi asinizame ngolwazi olusha. Do call us on 011-714-6918 or 714-6919. You can also email us your views to consumer@sabc.co.za. Alternatively, usithole lapha ku Facebook na ku Twitter. Buthabo Erasmus, yakwamukela nsizwa umbuzo noma umbono.
Ngiyabonga sisi ngokuthi ngingamukele. Noma ngifuna ukwazi kahle kahle ukuthi nombuzo ukuthi ukutrader in JSE isebenza kanjani? Isebenza ngokutrader in or ngama-investment, and then uma ufuna ukuthenga ama-investment or uma ufuna mhlawumbe ukuthenga ama-shares uyenza kanjani, uyakuphi ukuze uphephe bangakudli imali yakho mahhala?
Okay, but Thabo, buka nje lapho kumabona kude wakho, Sandesh, this is exactly why I was saying, please take us through the step-by-step intricacies. I mean, he's asking, how does one do actually do a trade-in, and also how do you buy shares in terms of the JSE standards?
Okay, so you have to go through a broker, essentially. Standard Bank is a broker, with the largest online broker in the country, or you can go through any other broker. Different banks offer an online platform as well. Somebody that you are familiar with, somebody reputable.
So you can go to your bank initially and ask them for more information.
Correct.
In terms of share trading.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And many of them have a dedicated site for this.
Okay.
We at Standard Bank have our own site as well. A lot of the trades are performed online. So when you go ahead and actually purchase a share or an exchange trade fund, it's done online. So it's DIY effectively. Alternatively, you can call the broker and their telephone number or their call center number. You can give them a call and they'll go ahead and actually perform the trade on your behalf. So you have to go through a broker. Remember that the JSE is merely an exchange. You have to go through a broker to purchase shares on the JSE.
So, Gerald, you can't be approached like you were saying earlier on in the supermarket and somebody says, listen, let me take your money, R1 off this, and I'll take it to the JSE.
No, you can't, because essentially the brokers on the stock exchange are all accredited. Remember, it's important to know about the qualifications and who you are dealing with.
Absolutely.
So there's the FSB, who give you a license to do financial services. So you need an FSP number, for example. So even if you go to my bank, at the door, they always have an FSP number, which shows that they're registered and they're compliant. Even if you go to a wealth manager or financial planning professional, they need to give you these credentials, because these are the driver's licenses to show that they know their story, they know how to help you. No one off the street can just say, here's software, you are online. It's not going to happen. Often there's a long story in that. If it's too good to be true,
it's not true.
It is.
But Derek Rustenbeck, sekwamukela nsizwa umbuzo noma umbono.
Alise.
Yebo bhuti.
Man botse nakubabukeli ba SABC1.
Sekwamukela nsizwa.
Man ngingafuthi nezimvuka man lapho kufelithole khona.
Yebo bhuti.
Alise umuntu olapha owesondela. Umuntu osehlabana seluka. Senzo bangayaphi kwezindawo bafuna ukwenza lento Alise. Bafuna insurance Alise. Angayaphi abantu bazondawo.
Okay, but yebo but Derek uzwile ukuthi ungaya ebhenki mhlambe olisebenzisa uyobuza khona ngeinformation.
Mhlawumbe umuntu akayazi ncama izinkalo eyifi.
Okay ke but akhona mosama bank esondele okanye edolophini apho but
Elsinde.
Oh okay ke but all right siyabonga kakhulu lalela nje lapho kumabona kude wakhe Gerald. He still needs advice on a safe route to go.
the safest route to me is, let's first understand.
I mean, he's from the rural areas, so he's really stressing that point that, you know, they don't have facilities like that available to them easily.
Every bank branch, usually there's a desk in every bank branch where they say there's this guy called a financial planner, okay? If you go there, usually they are the first step in that they would be able to point you in the right direction. Every single bank in Mzansi has these services and they can assist anybody who's interested in trading. But the reason why I'm saying go talk to a professional first is because before you trade or even invest, you need to understand why you are doing it.
Yes.
Because imali for isinkwa for tomorrow is not money to trade, because tomorrow it might not be back, it might not be ready to withdraw it. Some of these things you do, they take 48 hours, 7 days to get your money back, okay? So you need to understand why you are going and wanting to make money. If you're going simply to get rich quick, there are very few ways of doing it. But there's a lot of products out there, such as the one we spoke about during the break, ETFSA. It's a tax-free savings account, which allows you to participate in the stock exchange and you don't pay tax. And it's something which you can teach yourself how and what's happening in the market. I think that's the most important point. Let's start slow. Because when you go directly into our shares, our MT and our Vodacom, that's the deep end. What you need to do is first find a vehicle, they call it in the industry a wrapper, which allows you protection so that even you're not directly live in where the crocodiles are. You're a bit protected.
And
you're
also
learning.
they can identify what kind of shares you can actually buy that are currently in the market, Sandesh?
A starting point would indeed be exchange-traded funds. And the reason being is because exchange-traded funds track a number of instruments. So you're effectively spreading your risk. So if one share is doing badly, you've got other shares to sort of level out the portfolio in a sense.
Let's take Sibonga from KwaZulu-Natal. Nsizwa uthi nje qabaqaba umbuzo noma umbono. Siyabonga, usekhona ocingweni?
Yebo ngikhona.
Yebo bhuti wami, qhubeka ngombuzo noma umbono.
Yebo sisi.
Ungabuza bhuti?
Ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi as someone who still also scatter out, kumele ibroker ngiyikhokhele as ngoba ngisaphusha nami into yami. I must I pay broker for his service yabo.
Okay, but all right, he's asking a very simple question that would he have to pay a broker as somebody who's starting out in terms of share trading?
So your only fees would be, usually it would be a monthly admin fee. So with Standard Bank, it's effectively 80 Rand a month that you'd be paying a monthly fee just to service the account. And you'd obviously pay brokerage. Brokerage is basically you paying for the service and how you would pay for any service.
But
brokerages.
Sandesh, would you have to be then a customer at that particular bank, or you can actually go via a different bank to try and acquire those shares? How does it work there?
I'm glad you asked me the question because you don't necessarily have to be a customer of that particular bank to trade on their platform.
Ah, awesome stuff. All right, we're going to take a very quick ad break. Mbugeli, asiphinde sigijume itolo siyabuya khona manje. Welcome back, Mbogeli. Remember, we are taking your calls on 011-714-6918 or 714-6919. You can also email us your views to consumer@sabc.co.za. Siyatholakala futhi lapha ku Facebook na ku Twitter. Ke sibheke ukuthi nithini ku Facebook. uJohnny Sebotluma uthi, "Hi guys, my question about all this buying and selling shares is when is the right time to buy or sell shares? It is good to buy or sell shares when the inflation is high or low?"
Okay, there's a simple answer to that. There's this thing we call risk. Now, risk is what your appetite, how much money can you afford to lose. Now, it's important before you even think of AMA shares that there's low risk investments, there's moderate risk investments, and then there's high risk investments. AMA shares are high risk.
Who determines that for you?
Everyone's different. You and I are different because depending on what you want and when you want your money, our risk will be different. Because if I need lots of money quickly, my risk might be much higher. That's why it's important when you're starting to talk about thinking of AMA shares, sit down with a professional. Generally speaking, when you're talking of shares and investing in the stock market, it's a medium to long-term investment. Now, medium to long-term means 5 to 10 years. So it means you shouldn't even be looking at AMA shares if you want to see your money within the next 5 years. It's a medium term to long-term investment. That's another reason why a lot of people end up losing money because they put their money in January and then they go in November and all their money is gone.
No. Christmas shopping.
Over time, shares will always give you the best return of any other investment, but you need to give them time. So it's important that if you are thinking of shares, if you've got the time, buy the shares for your child when they are born, sell those shares for university. That's the kind of time horizon you need to be playing with. If you are playing with AMA short-term horizon, then you're definitely trading, which means that you need to be someone who knows their story because there are people who trade every day. They wait for 2 cents here, sell, 2 cents down, buy. But that's totally different. So I think it's important for our viewers today to realize investing is different to trading. The only commonality is that there's an exchange of money, which is called a trade in any case. But it's important. If you are the kind of person who wants e-software, I'm a blue line, I'm a red line, I'm a orange line, that's trading. You need to be trained up on that. If you want to invest and buy shares, that's medium to long term, which means go talk to a financial professional who's going to advise you on the best option you can take. Shares are not something you take with money you need now. If you haven't saved money as a savings institute, you say you shouldn't be really looking at shares. Start saving first, build up your money, and then you can invest in our shares.
Wow, thank you so much for that, Sandesh. Very quickly.
On that, Alicia, I mean, it's just also very important to note that trading trading is not something that's learned overnight. You know, it takes you a good few years to actually learn a particular skill or master it. So it's not something that's learned overnight, and that's what a lot of people think, that it can be learned overnight and you'd be, you know, a hotshot trader in a couple of days' time.
Kodwa mina mbukeli nje engithemba ukuthi ukuzwile ukuthi uku-investor ila uzoyibeka khona imali. Uzolise East London sakwamukela ohlelweni umbuzo noma umbono. Zolisa?
Molweni sisi.
Molo bhuti wami, siyabonga ukuthi ubamba ucingo nje awuhlala endabeni nsizwa. Bhuti Zolisa.
Okay. Now sisi ndinombuzo mna, ubukhe waveza into ethi if unga investor i-10,000 ne?
Yebo bhuti.
Now ndikhalela uva irate ekureyithwa ngayo, then after ixesha elo balibekayo, let's say after 10 years ungafumana malini
after 10 years.
Yeah.
Yebo bhuti.
But kwezinye questions bandikhavarishile as bandisifa ngoku bendibukele after a break.
Okay, Pudzolisa. So he just wants an estimate, Sandesh, of how much one would likely make in terms of profit if you invested 10,000 Rand, say, after 10 years.
So that also depends on how the market is performing. Historically speaking, the JSE has pretty much given about 15 to 17% per annum. And it definitely is, as Gerald said, the best performing asset class out of cash, bonds, and even property. So if you want to make your cash grow, equities is where it is. And obviously start off with exchange trade funds, like I've mentioned.
And you said something very interesting, Sandesh, we're at break here. And you said if you're not looking into long-term investment, you'd obviously need to open a TFI investment. How does that work?
No, TFIA would be for long-term investment.
Okay, how does it work?
So if you want to grow your capital, grow your cash, start off with a TFIA account. You want to get involved in the market, a TFIA or tax-free investment account. With a tax-free investment account, the government allow you to invest up to 30,000 Rand per annum as an individual.
So I'll bring 30,000 Rand to you and say, I want to open up a TFI account, and then what happens from there?
You don't necessarily have to bring the entire amount. You can do it in increments. And the 30,000 is the maximum contribution that you can do per annum, and it runs on a calendar year. And as an individual, you have a 500,000 Rand lifetime limit. They'll probably increase that over the next few years, obviously with inflation, etc. But it's very prudent to actually have one, because if you sell shares, you don't pay capital gains, you pay reduced brokerage. There's no securities transfers tax. And most importantly, any dividends that you receive are not subjected to dividends withholding tax. So it's a great vehicle if you want to get started.
Gerald?
So you heard him.
Yes, absolutely.
Capital gains tax. Okay, there's all sorts of things which you need to understand if you're even thinking about trading shares. So if you're doing it as an individual, do you understand your CGT liability? Do you know what withholding tax is? You know, do you know what your marginal tax rate is? All those things are important because we're talking of the most complex types of investments you can do. So it's very important that if you are going to do this, do it with a professional beside you, because the first thing they'll tell you at bank when you go is that past performance is not an indication of future performance. So as much as he said 17% in the last 10 years, we could go into a recession for the next 5 to 10 years, which you can't get 17%. So there's a lot of risk, that word again comes back, involved in trading and dealing in shares. And it's great for people to want to learn. If you go onto e-website here at JSC, you can go, there's even a trading game where you can play around with software which is provided by the JSC, and you trade. So if you're one of those people who likes to press buy, sell, and see, can I make money? You can see how hard it is in a safe environment where you're just playing and learning and teaching yourself. Then you can start considering, is this something I'm good at? The problem when you don't buy software from somewhere which is reputable, what these people do is they sell you a version of software which is called a dummy. software. They say, no, you're just playing. It's to show you how easy it is. And these dummy softwares are actually designed so that when you are playing, you will always make money. You will not make money. Okay? And this is just to entice you to go buy the real thing. And when you buy the real thing, you will lose money. And that's how a lot of people are crying and losing, saying that we tried trading, we didn't understand. It's because they're doing it by themselves. In Mali, these guys, bank, they are taught, they do degrees, they learn this stuff every day. So try and trust someone to help you to learn and give yourself time. What we're doing right now is that a lot of us are driven by need.
Okay.
You saw the other question, to beat inflation when inflation is high. So inflation is going high now.
Gerald,
everyone wants to trade.
Hold that thought. We're going to come back. Mbugeli masiphinde sibambe lapho sithi shalele etolo. Please stay with us. Sikwamukele futhi mbukeli ngihlelela nezinsizwa la e-studio ngisho yena uSandesh Ganasee, an online trading expert, kanye nobhuti uGerald Mwadiambira from the Savings Institute of South Africa. Sixoxa ngokuthi phela uma uthenga ama-shares ngendlela ephephile wenza kanjani. Phuthuma usishayele ucingo ku-011 or 7146919. Ake si-check ukuthi nithini lapha ku-Facebook. Songezo Adonis says, it's a very complicated system to me. We lack information. How can we start on buying shares, let alone who can we approach when we want to do such? Sandesh.
So there's a number of ways that you can approach this question or answer this question. Number one would be to visit the websites of the relevant brokers that you'd want to trade via. There's plenty of information on these websites. Alternatively, if you're going to be trading with a large bank, walk into a branch, go into a branch of the relevant bank. Give them a call. Most of them have call centers. Give them a call. They can assist you in terms of information, but actually education about the stock market. That you can do in two ways. You can either educate yourself. We all have access to the internet now. Most of us have a smartphone in our hand. Use the smartphone. Go to various websites. Google. And the other way would be, as Gerald mentioned on the break, would be speak to a professional, speak to a financial advisor. Or somebody that preferably knows a little bit more than you do.
I'd also say that Klaviso Hernandez Qazo says, is it appropriate for an individual to buy shares from a company or invest into JSE while the country's economy is not that stable, Gerald?
Well, the answer to that is when you are looking at preserving capital is just a fancy word for money. When you're looking at keeping the value of your money, you have to let it work for you. Investing and trading, those are just options to grow your money. But you can't say, I'm only going to grow it when everything is good. Actually, sometimes when there is chaos, that's an opportunity to buy so that when things improve, your shares go up in price. But this is a decision only you and your financial advisor can come up with, because you need to have a goal. If you're going to be trading, what's your goal? How much do you want to make? Do you just want to make for no reason? And by when? Because many of us don't even ask ourselves by this question, when do I want this money and how much do I want? So we just sit in jail watching. And sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. We need to have a structured approach into what we are doing with our money. So in simple answer to his question is, if you wait for the economy to be okay, those people who are buying now will be selling to you. Okay? But I can't tell you to go buy now because I don't know your story. Is there bread in your house today? Because if you've got bread, everything is sorted, we can go ahead. But tomorrow, if there's no bread, I can't even talk to you. So those are the important questions we need to start asking ourselves before we start jumping in. But when the economy is bad, it's not always a bad time to invest. It's often a good time because things get better when they're worse.
All right. I'm going to ask you a follow-up question on that, Gerald, but I just want to take Anonymous from Vereniging on the line. Anonymous, a very good afternoon to you. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, I don't have a question. I have an experience through forex share trading. My colleague introduced me to this forex share trading, and then she seems like she was an expert on that. And then she opened her email, and then she said I must punch my details. After a while, I get a call from UK. They said to me, do you want to buy shares? I said yes. And then they said, can you please give us your details, bank details? And then I give it to them. And I was not yet paid. And they said there is no money in my account.
How much did you put in, Anonymous?
Hello?
How much did you put in? How much did you invest?
No, like when they said I must send them my bank details, they found out that I don't have a finance in my account. And then they said, when should we call you to when you get the money? I said month end. And then month end they called me and asked me bank details again.
So what happened?
And when they asked me details again, I gave them my details, and all of within 30 seconds on my account, 3.8 was deducted.
And you never regained that money. Do you know? Can you track it? Do you know where it went?
Yes, it went to trade, Titan Trade.
And what's happened ever since? Have you ever been had a follow-up on how your investment is going?
Yes, I did follow up, but since I've been doing more follow-up, they block me everywhere, on Facebook, on calls, emails, and...
Anonymous, thank you so much for that. Mbukeli Sixwayiso leso kakhulu kuwena lapho ekhaya. And I think, Gerald, do you want to give advice? I mean, this is your forte, some of the problems that you come across.
Imali yakho, you make your rights, your choices with your money. But it's important to realize with the internet, just because they have a fancy website or someone called you, you don't know where they are.
She says it was word of mouth, and this
they
person
could be
seemed
anywhere.
like an expert.
Yeah, but that's what happens. They sound like experts. They use fancy words. They can tell you about all these things. You are trading in contract for difference, CFD. You're going to make 10 times the money you put in. However, they don't tell you it's a leveraged investment, where if you leverage the investment, the times 10 increment in your capital gains is also a times 10 loss in money, where you can lose thousands in minutes and cry. People commit suicide overseas because of these things.
Yes.
And Tina, we're just jumping in because we like the website and it's because someone smart called me. And that's the biggest danger we are facing right now. When you get a call from someone you don't know, if there's no office you can visit, if they're not registered here in Mzansi, don't even talk to them, because that's exactly what's happening. She's very lucky that they just took 3.8. Others, they keep your credit card. Every time your salary yangena, shaiman, you know, and it's some fraudsters, pure fraudsters. They're not even bankers, they're nothing. They're just pure fraudsters. So it's very important to protect your money, especially when you're talking AMA shares and trading, because they know that lots of people don't know what a PE ratio is. They don't know what a dividend yield is. They don't know when a company goes ex-dividend, what an AGM is, what an EBITDA is. All those things are the preserve of those who know. But until you know, stay far and teach yourself.
All right, it is Tate Uqedukwazi from Enquzu before CKFin. Bhuti siyakwamukela uthi nje qaba.
Yebo sawubona sisi ngiyaphila.
Yebo bhuti wami.
Yebo mina bengicela ukubuza mhlawumbe ukuthi mabe mhlawumbe ufuna ukuba nama-shares ikhampani ethile kumele mhlawumbe ube nemali nanokuthi mhlawumbe uma kuba mhlawumbe leyo mali awunayo mhlawumbe ufuna ukuyoboleka iloni ikuphi mhlawumbe kumele ubheke amabhenki la uzoyoboleka khona iloni lokho nje befuna ukubona ngoba ne-interest rate ikhuphuke kangaka nje umnotho weze wehla yilokho engifuna ukubuza sisi.
Okay, Qedukwazi hlala nje amehla akhathi njo lapho kumabona kude wakho sizokuphendula emva kwaleli khefu. Siyabuya khona manje mbukeli. Mbukeli siphinde sikwamukele shesha mangabe usafuna ukuthi sikusize ngocingo ngoba phela sesizozivala izingcingo. Who's going to answer our previous caller there? Qedukwazi wants to know if you can apply for a loan to buy shares. Is that advisable, Sandesh?
I don't know if you can actually apply to buy shares, but I don't think it's advisable at all. I don't think it's a wise move, no.
Okay. What would you say, Gerald?
It's not. Definitely not a good idea. You know, the stock market is unpredictable. Today, they're announcing whether South Africa is being downgraded or not.
Yes.
So the shares could go up or down on Monday. So why would you take a loan and not know the outcome? You know, so a loan for buying shares, definitely not a wise idea, no.
All right, kodwa ukwazi siyathemba ukuthi uzwileke lapho nsizwa ukuthi cha ngempela engathi bakuxwayisa ukuthi ungayi ukuthatha iloan ebank ukuze wena uthenge ama-shares ngoba engathi uzoba senkingeni ibhenki meselifuna imali yayo. But there's an SMS that has just come through. Somebody wants to know, Sandesh, do banks indeed actually provide their customers with the software to do trading?
So with all the platforms or with all the banks, they've got an online platform, so you access it online. And if you have a smartphone, you obviously access it via the app. There's no software that you'd be installing on your PC, if that's what you want to know.
Okay.
And there's no sort of 20,000 or 25,000 rand cash outlay that you'd be putting forward to actually access the system or access the JSE for that matter.
Ah, awesome stuff. Let's see what you're saying lapha ku Facebook Mbukele. Usiphe sihle Oscar Quphuma uthi Alisha mina ndicela ubuza uba if ndinama shares kutsho ukuthi ndinemali eninzi okanye kuyafana nje noma ndibake imali yami ebank. Gerald, what do you think?
I don't know. I think
does it mean you have more money if you've got shares than putting money in an account?
It doesn't mean that at all. It's all about the purpose you are doing things. The purpose of you investing should not be just to make money. There should actually be other goals. Is it education? So if it's education, whose education? When do you need the money? How much? Okay? So we must take ourselves a step back from just the wanting of more money. That more money, if I gave you $1 million today, Alicia, what are you going to do with it? What's the plan?
Go shopping.
So you need to have a plan, which is why they call financial planning. If you don't have a financial plan, first have a plan before you start playing around and dabbling in shares.
All right, let's take Ulerato Kubega. Uti, is Stock Market College a legit institution to learn more about this trade? And this brings me back to regulation. We haven't touched on this issue, Sandesh, and I think it's a very serious one in terms of safety. Who is a trusted regulator when it comes to this?
So rule of thumb, if they are not registered with the Financial Services Board, you should stay far away from them.
How do you check that, though?
You can go onto the Financial Services Board website, and they should have a Financial Services Board registration number. Type it in, pop it in into one of the fields, and it'll bring up their details.
Okay.
And if they say they're a school, they should be registered with the Department of Education. They should have SAQA unit standards. They should be traceable. And schools don't take money. So once I'm teaching you how to do something and I'm also taking money, there's something not right about that. And also what you tend to find also is, if you are telling me you can make 10,000 a day in software, why are you sitting at the mall the whole day?
Hayi uyabuza ku Gerald lapha Mbukeli sithemba ukuthi uyasizwa ngempela leso sixwayiso. Queen eBizana Eastern Cape sakwamukela sithi uthi qaba umbuzo noma umbono.
Hi, ngiyabulisa ngilonke e-studio. I just wanted to find out, is there a way that we, is there a way that we can actually make sure ukuthi this is a legit broker? How do you know if the broker is legit? Because Google, you can Google a company today, uthole corner. Next week you publish, there's nothing there.
Our brokers are regulated. It's called the FASE Act, Financial Advisor and Intermediary Services Act of 2002. What you must do, if you want to check a broker or any professional in the industry, go to the FSB website. No, it's actually FSB website, fsb.co.za. You type in their ID number or their name. If they don't appear on that register, it means they're not a recognized advisor. So don't even do business with them. Same thing with our company, that same website, fsb.co.za. You type in the company name, it will list what the company does and what it's supposed to do. Because often what's happening, these sources are clever. They go to the FSB and they register their company to sell a funeral policy. So now when you type in, FSB, but they are selling shares and doing trading. Make sure that if they are on that website, they are doing what they are registered to do. Because often these companies, they'll register for something which is simple like selling a funeral. But meanwhile, they're busy conning people, shares, etc. And they say, no, the license is pending. If the license is pending, you must wait for my money as well.
Sandesh, what can you add on that in terms of safety?
No, I agree with Gerald. I mean, the best bet there would be go to the Financial Services Board website. I mean, in most instances, if you're trading with the bank, like I mentioned earlier, chances are that they're obviously regulated and they're registered with the relevant independent institutions or bodies, and it would be safe to go ahead and actually do business with them. But if you're dealing with a financial planner, and you're not familiar with the person, and you know he has no references, probably would be best to go to the Financial Services Board website.
But what are some of the questions that our consumers should ask themselves? I mean, we have touched on them a few times, but Gerald, let's drive that point home.
The most important part, office yakho ikuphi? Where's your office?
Can I see your office?
So go see this office. If it's a big bank, go there, see it yourself. Before you give your money, it's your money, you must know, okay? This telephone number mustn't be a cell phone number. There must be a landline or a number you can phone anytime. Make sure that number is there. I'm a website. Don't just Google and think a website is something. Anyone can do a website. So make sure you see physical evidence that this is an operation which is legitimate. Most important thing, ask for AMA qualifications. Ask for the licensing. You know, you can even ask an advisor, show me your ID book and I want to take a copy. Because if I am legit and I'm not running away from you, I should have nothing to hide.
Absolutely.
These people don't want to give you information. And once someone wants to withhold information, stay away. But also as a consumer, if you encounter these tsotsis, don't just say, hey, Mina, I survived, I was lucky. Report them because you are saving the next person from falling into that same trap.
Sandesh, can someone come to the bank maybe to try and verify a trader or a dealer in terms of wanting to see their credentials? Can they come and do that?
Well, it depends if they're posing as being part of a particular bank or financial services institution. And I don't see why they wouldn't disclose that much detail in terms of whether the person actually works there. So I don't see that as being an issue.
Okay. And what else, I mean, do we need to bear in mind in terms of when it comes to trading? Would you advise then trading versus investment, Gerald?
I can't, because it depends on your strategy. Do you have a plan?
And your
that's
purpose.
the most important thing. Let's all first go 10 steps back, have a plan. And your plan starts as basic as your budget. Once you have a plan, you can do whatever you want. It's your money. But have a plan. Often what we're doing is we're just like cattle following the leader. And we can't do that because I don't know what's going on in your house. I don't know how you live. I know how I live. So my plan can't be the same as yours. And that's the most important thing. Share trading works for some people and some people will make money. But if it's not for you, you might lose money. Let's start also accepting that with some of these things, some people make, some people will lose.
Very quickly, wrap up our show, Sandesh. Where can people get more information?
Go to the relevant websites, go to the banks. The big 4 banks are a good place to start, and start off with the TFIA account, I would strongly suggest. All
right, we still have added time. Gerald, your final words to our traders there, or would-be traders.
To our would-be traders there is that just be vigilant and be careful. Because not everything that's out there which looks like what it is what it is.
Gerald, would your institution offer advice to future would-be traders? Can they contact you?
Advice is a dangerous word. We don't offer advice because advice is regulated under the FAIS Act. What we could do is simply give you tips and pointers on the things to look out for, and sometimes partners who we work with who you can visit. But the best bet, as he said, is go to the big banks. You've got a bank account there. Go ask them about AMA shares tomorrow.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for that. Mbukeli, hayi ngiyathemba ukuthi mhlambe khona okuncane ulwazi oluthathile lapho. Kanjalo nje seliphelile ulwazi ebese niphathele lona namhlanje. Sithemba ukuthi nithole oluningi usizo namuhla. Before sihamba, ithi nje ngibonge kakhulu to our studio guests for making their time to be with us today. Ngiphinde futhi ngibonge nani babukeli ngokubamba iqhaza namhlanje. Please join us again next week Friday for another live consumer affairs discussion. Ukhumbule ukuthola impinde ehlelo lethu. Please join us every Monday from 12 midday la kumamba phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. For me, Alisha Ntombi Jolly and the whole team, safe trading. Get all that information. Nisale kahle.